Welcome to So-and-So, brought to you by BERNINA, Made to Create. I'm Meg Goodman, and you're about to enjoy a special edition of So-and-So as we highlight a story that takes place in North Charleston High School in Charleston, South Carolina. If you look, you can find passion and creativity in many places, and a school is certainly one of them. But the creativity and passion we found at North Charleston High School went way beyond what you would expect. With the support of several teachers who have made their students' future their life's work, NCHS has created a Makerspace, which allows their scholars the opportunity to explore science, technology, engineering, art, and math, better known as STEAM, as well as reading, and now sewing and quilting. With the help of Craig Conover from Bravo TV's Southern Charm and the owner of Sewing Down South, along with BERNINA, one of sewing's premier brands, this Makerspace is now outfitted to allow NCHS scholars to dream and create. This is their story.
Well, for my students, there was a lot of interest in sewing and fashion. So I wanted to start incorporating more of that into our lessons. I had a donation of fabric recently, and I wanted to have the students experiment with that, do pillows, things they could sell, build skills that they could take out into the workforce. And then what happened is we started developing the Makerspace idea here, and it's growing. So we want to have, 3D printing. We want to have opportunities for students to kind of problem solve and work with different materials. So the sewing machines are going to be a good opportunity for students to problem solve, express themselves creatively, build skill sets. So that's how our Makerspace is going to work. We'll integrate it into different programs, into different lessons, and really let the students work on it on their own as well.
That's Ms. Connell, an art teacher and founder of the NCHS Makerspace. She's teamed up with Ms. Murray, a librarian at NCHS, who has high hopes for her students.
This is my first year as a librarian, and I want to make things relevant for the students and that they're creating something that they can claim, and that's their own. So I am really looking in ways that things that they're interested in, to find ways for them to get involved and create their own inspirations.
What's your dream for the program?
My dream would be that there would be students in here the whole day, and that they would just be creating their masterpieces or whatever and showcasing them, and that everybody could see how awesome our kids are.
Along with Ms. Connell and Ms. Murray, Ms. Clegg has jumped in to help jumpstart the NCHS Makerspace. Ms. Clegg runs the Liberty Hill STEAM program and acknowledges that this space has grown through the participation of several partners.
We work with Boeing and CCSD have partnered to create it's called a Liberty Hill STEM initiative here in the North District. And we have K through 12, so we work with North Charleston Elementary, Morningside Middle, and North Charleston High. And so we have brought STEM-enriched lessons and relevant lessons into the classrooms. So now at all three schools, we're creating a Makerspace. So the sewing machines that were donated today and the great partnership that we have formed will be the foundation for our Makerspace in this area, so that our scholars can learn life skills and artistic ways to express themselves.
Or as BERNINA says, scholars at NCHS are made to create. It's with BERNINA's commitment that this sewing and quilting section of this Makerspace is allowing participants to create items they've only until now just dreamt of. Elise Voss-Cantor, marketing manager at BERNINA, agrees.
Over the past couple of years, we have witnessed an increased interest in sewing from a younger audience especially. And at BERNINA, we have embraced this new generation with open arms. We have made concerted effort to not only equip younger souls with the tools they need to be successful for their growth, but we also provided them with a platform to share their talent and unique point of view.
BERNINA committed to donate 12 Burnett sewing machines, but they didn't do this alone. They were inspired to get involved by the efforts of Craig Conover of Bravo TV's Southern Charm and the proprietor of Charleston's Sewing Down South.
we connected with Craig and Sewing Down South in April of this year. And we knew that Craig used the BERNINA machine, and we wanted to book him for our podcast, So and So. And from that initial conversation, we learned that Craig would be opening a Sewing Down South flagship store, in which we are currently here in Charleston. And he was interested in having a BERNINA machine on hand for embroidery. And we hooked him up with our local BERNINA dealer, and ever since, they're a perfect match, and he is sewing along.
As it turns out, Craig's been sewing along for quite a long time.
I actually had a home ec class in middle school, which was really great. So I learned how to sew and cook during that year from my teacher, Miss Hurley. I really just took a love to it. At first, I started cooking a lot at the house, and it wasn't until a couple years ago that I purchased a sewing machine again. Actually, my first machine was bought off Amazon, and I just started to create again, and I loved it, and thought I wanted to make clothes, but had never been trained how to do that. It was very difficult, so I remembered how to make a pillow from home ec class, and then just started to challenge myself, and actually started to learn some advanced techniques from YouTube, and eventually moved up to a BERNINA machine, and it kind of took off from there.
Now, we're here today because we're going to one of the local high schools with you with some sewing machines that BERNINA's donated, and you are supporting this program. You're presenting it. Tell us a little bit about it and why it's important to you. They have a makerspace in this school.
I love the idea of a makerspace. Like I said, we get messages all the time from kids that, I wouldn't say there's too much pressure on gender norms as there used to be, but kids really aren't introduced to sewing or cooking or stuff in a lot of different households. A lot of people view, the point of entry is a little challenging because, not everyone has the opportunity to have a sewing machine at home, and they really can discover a talent that maybe they didn't even know that they had through this makerspace. I was bullied a lot growing up, and my outlet, was at home, which was great. And I would garden and sew and cook. And I think, having a space in the school where you can explore your creative side comfortably and encourage each other is just great. So, look, I loved sports. But to have home ec in my life and school, I think had, a profound effect on me ending up owning a sewing business, a pillow company, a home decor company at this chapter of my life. So I think it's important to keep the arts and creative spaces like this makerspace that we're donating to today in schools. And, everyone's different. And I think, what works for some kids doesn't work for all. And this is it's just opening doors, hopefully, for people that enjoy sewing.
So Craig, his team, and BERNINA came to NCHS to personally hand over the machines and provide words of support and encouragement.
I would say, though, before the business, sewing was really important to me because that was my outlet. There's way worse things in life than breakups, but I was going through a bad breakup like 5-6 years ago. And I moved out of the house. I left my garden behind because I love gardening. I left my workshop, and all I had was my sewing machine. So I remember just blasting like Eminem and Taylor Swift and just sewing anything I could think of. And it was my outlet. And through that, I really started to be able to escape all those negative feelings. That act of creating and finishing a pillow, when you turn it right side out, was everything to me in those moments, and it still is. And then, it helped me deal with, I've got, pretty bad OCD I deal with, and perfectionism and stuff. And so learning to love the mismatched stitches and not having to make everything perfect is what really turned, what Sewing Down South was born from. So then these guys came into my life. I mean, we went to college together here at College of Charleston. But yeah, then the business started. So even if you're not doing it to make money, I mean, this is incredibly therapeutic. And honestly, giving something that you made as a gift is incredible, because now with Amazon and everything, if you have the money, you can really buy anything you want when it comes to presents. So it's hard to think of something to give, but during the holiday season, just making something, I mean, there's not too many people are given handmade gifts. So
I don't know, I think it can bring a lot of joy to people and yourselves through these machines. So.
The other half of the we Craig referred to is Jerry Casselano, Craig's business partner and CEO of Sewing Down South.
I think the cool thing about the sewing machine, which I can't sew, I'm not an artistic human being, so that's Craig's world, but the life skills of sewing are super important for you in the sense that it takes a lot of patience and time to create something, and if you can take those life lessons into everything else you do in life when you come out, it'll help you with jobs, with family, and everything else as you grow, because it's not a, as Craig can tell you, this has been, how many years in the work did you sign out south?
I mean, a while.
Like 4, 5, 6 years, and then it finally, there's a right time that comes with is him and I meeting to do some business together, and then it took off because we put both of our best. I'm good at business, he's great at design and product, and you put that together, and then it leads to something else.
Elise also shared with the NCHS scholars what lessons she's learned through sewing.
We are very pleased to partner with Craig and Jerry from Sewing Down South. And we are happy to provide the machines for you and can't wait to see what you make. So have fun creating. We say BERNINA is made to create because we believe we are all made to create. And I never learned how to sew in school, but I'm around with all the creative people. And so I started to sew. And I was always stressed out because I wanted to make it perfect. And my husband always says, no, it's the beauty in the project that it's not perfect. And that's something I learned. And it really brings joy, and it's a great outlet. If you have a hectic day, you sit down on a machine. I talk with so many ambassadors about that. They sit down every day a little bit and sew because it's a great stress relief for them, especially in the times where we live now. Look at us, we all wear masks. A lot of people stay home, and this is a great creative outlet. So have fun, enjoy, and thank you so much that we could be here today.
And so the day progressed with lots of smiles, laughter, and stories of hope. Stories of what has yet to be created and the endless possibilities of following your dreams, which, as Ms. Clegg explains, is a vital component of the STEAM program.
Through these programs, what's important for us is to teach our scholars that everything is STEAM, which in those skills, which is they can use their creativity and they can use the instruction and the concepts that they've learned in the classroom and put it all together to make beautiful things, to create sustainability with mending their own clothes and reusing materials in new and inventive and beautiful ways. They can bring family history to life through quilting and pillows and that personal touch that these activities can bring.
And it seems like Craig and Jerry put some pretty big challenges up to these students. So we'll be looking forward to seeing their creations and their artwork, their quilts. What should we know about this area, the school, the students that we didn't ask? What's special?
Well, what's special about our scholars is a lot of people sell them short. And they kind of, that's that school in North Charleston. But our scholars, when given the opportunity and the access, which y'all have helped provide today, they can fly. And so we not only want to show our neighborhoods, our cities, our state, and the world that our scholars can fly, we want to prove to them that they can fly. And the challenge that was issued today allows them that access and that opportunity to really think beyond what they have before.
And thanks to Craig, Jerry, and BERNINA, the scholars at NCHS can find that opportunity right in their own backyard.
I could learn from you guys with quilting. I haven't learned quilting yet, so I would love to know. We just started making blankets at the store, so.
Maybe we could do a competition with them and they can figure out some different ideas and you guys pitch it back to us and everybody has the best idea, we can sell the product in the store.
Yeah.
There we go. I had 3 people asking me about that earlier.
So what we wanted to do for a little while, when we spoke to the school about this last year, now that the store's been, open, we've gotten our footing and everything. We open in May. We want to have like a locals corner or creators corner where, if one of you or a couple of you start to make things in here and you really love and you would like to sell them, we have space in our store where we can, nothing to us, you guys could just sell your stuff out of there. We can handle it and give it to you guys. So just like, it's fun. We've got a great storefront on King Street and, we're lucky to have that. But for a while I was just selling out of my dining room. I really wasn't great at that. I love the in-person selling a lot more. So if it works out, we would love to have some of your stuff in there and you can come meet the customers and really get that excitement and that high from in-person selling, which will then lead to expanding your guys' businesses. So
Not only is there a challenge for the NCHS scholars, but even a bigger call of encouragement for everyone to follow their heart's passion, no matter who you are or what you want to do. Craig, one of the things that's important to you is gender diversity in sewing. It's important to Bernina, too. And I know that this is something that you really promote and are working hard to change things, that anybody who wants to sew, it's cool that they sew. Tell us a little bit about your efforts and some of the reaction that you're getting to this.
Well, it's funny that you asked that because I remember at the first pillow party, the gentleman from high school, he's a quarterback of the high school team, came in and his mom was like, look, he's grown up sewing. His grandfather taught his father taught him, but it usually stayed in-house. And now he takes all of his projects to school. We actually got a message the other day that said, hi, I just wanted to thank Craig for showing kids that you don't have to conform to gender stereotypes and boys can succeed doing anything and girls can too. My son is 7 and loves sewing and doing arts and crafts as well as playing sports, as does my daughter. I brought home a pillow from your store and met you with my husband, and both my kids were inspired to sew their own pillows. Love the show and love that Craig is never afraid to be himself and actually succeeded just by being him, doing the thing he loves. And look, I was fortunate enough to be raised by parents that I was encouraged to do whatever I wanted. Maybe not everyone is that lucky, and I just want to do as much as I can to let kids, and I have the platform to do it, to let kids, see that it can, anything, you decide what's cool, you decide what's okay. And that's how you take the power away from bullies and stuff, is you just do what makes you happy. So, it breaks my heart to think, of someone not doing something that brings them joy. So the more I can, get out there that, arts and crafts and sewing and stuff isn't just for girls, or sports aren't just for boys, or whatever it is. I love doing things that are a little out of the norm. But what you realize is it's not out of the norm. Just as many boys like to sew as just as many girls. They just hide it. And that's not necessary anymore. So, let's not live in the shadows. And it's fun. And you connect. It's just a way to connect with more people.
Knowing that there are programs like the NCHS Makerspace, dedicated people like Craig Conover, and the folks at Bernina who provide the support necessary to make it happen, highlights the fact that good exists. And it's that good that shapes the future of the scholars at NCHS, because with the right tools, a little encouragement, and a big dose of hope, they can learn that the dreams they have will lift them so that they can do more than just walk through this life. They can fly. This has been a special edition of the So and So podcast. If you'd like to learn more about the NCHS Makerspace, Sewing Down South, or Bernina, drop us a line at info@soandsopodcast.com. If you know someone you think has an outstanding story, a story that should be shared on this podcast, please drop me a note to info@soandsopodcast.com or just complete the form on our website. Be sure to subscribe to this podcast on your favorite platform and visit our website, So and So Podcast, for more information about today's and all of our guests. That's SEWANDSO podcast.com. And finally, I want to thank Bernina for making this program possible. I'm Meg Goodman, and I look forward to you joining us next time on So and So.